So welcome back, guys. Today we're gonna talk about no sword stance again, and this is the second part of the no sword strategy guide. In today's video we're gonna cover the big names, the big reasons why you pick this stance and why against good opponents I like it more than one sword stance. So we're gonna just jump right into it. Today I'm a little bit shaky and I will explain at the end why. So if you're not interested, you don't have to watch it, but please stay with me if I do something wrong or take a little bit longer, even longer than I usually do. So the first thing is fold 1+2, which is a 16 frame mid, which has some high crushes I think after the 4th or the 5th frame. On normal hit it's +4 and leaves you in crouch, which is an illusion. There is no mix-up here. If they sidewalk, your sweep won't connect. But on counter hit, it gives you this very hefty knockdown that will, if they get up, either grant the blocked tackle, which is +13, or you will run over them, or you will ultimate tackle them. So running up is a good idea afterwards. It's very good in situations where you want to bait jabs from the opponent, and it has tracking to his right. Very, very good tracking to his right. Not to his left though, which is unfortunate because that's his weak side and you... What? Yoshimitsu, don't lie to me. I'm sorry about that. What is that? You don't have tracking to this. Don't lie to me. Oh yeah, to it tracks to his left. What? So welcome back, guys. Today we're here for the second part of the no sword strategy guide and why you have to implement it into your game. Today we're gonna cover the big names, the things that most people expected, and I just want to make a quick say something real quick. I'm not in the best condition, so it could be that today I will take a little bit more time, even more time than usual. I will explain in the end what is happening, but for people that are not interested, you don't have to watch it now. I will just put it at the end, and if you don't care, then just skip it. The first move that I want to cover is no sword stance fold 1+2, which is a 16 frame mid, which crushes highs very early. From I think -4 to -5 is where you can use this as a consistent high crush. Has decent range, hits from range 2.3 I think. 2.3 is the range where you can use it, so not huge range but decent range. Is +4, leaves you in crouch with a little bit of distance, but keep in mind they can sidewalk your sweep, so this is not a mix-up between this and a mid if the opponent is good. Sorry. And on counter hit you actually get a very interesting knockdown that throws them away very far, where you can run up and either get them to eat the low kick, running over them, or blocking the tackle and being -13. And of course this wall splats, which is very important because people like to jab at the wall. And for instance, after this, I use this a lot when they block it and I'm on -5, and then I crush jabs with it, just to showcase you what it can do. The best thing about this move though, can be the worst or the best, is that it recovers crouching. So if they want to punish you for doing it, they need to use a mid that is because it's -13. Most people don't know that. I'm not talking about someone like Anakin here. Of course, good people do know that, and they know there is specific punish. But let's be honest, in rank, nobody punished this correctly the first time. And what will happen if they jab? You will get a free sweep, which is super annoying because you're -13 and they think I should have punished you, but instead of that, they eat the launcher. Is this the most reliable strategy for your tournament win? I don't think so. Does this work in rank every freaking time at the highest rank? Yeah, it does. So you know what you have to do with it. And one last thing that made me love this move is his tracking. Because as you can see, it tracks to his right and to his left. You can sidewalk it to his right, but it's not easy, and you are supposed to step to his left. And to his left, the tracking is not against sidewalking, but against sidestepping very, very decent. That's why I like this move a lot. The next one is the one most people expected me to cover immediately, and that's his hell sweep. Full crouch down for 3. We will spend a lot of time for this move, so take your coffee. This is the reason why you play no sword stance. It's the sweep. It's the sweep from hell. It's flash and full crouch down for 3. The range of this hell sweep is unmatched. I know he doesn't have a wave dash, but hitting from range 3 clean hit is just disgusting. Keep in mind though, always when you connect this move, use Wild Standing 1. Wild Standing 4 here does, I think, 1 more damage, but is unreliable against big opponents like Gigas and Jack, and at max range it won't connect if you're unlucky. But Wild Standing 1 will always connect. I could talk 1 hour about this move, it's so good. It gives Yoshimitsu's entire full crouch game finally a threatening mix-up. It gives Yoshimitsu overall finally a threatening low option that isn't seeable or reactable. If the opponent is sharp enough to work around your unblockables, then it's very hard to get your opponent to duck. And whilst down for 1+2 is seeable and has no range, so you have to dash up. But you can do this from literally anywhere close to the opponent and still score your launch. So with this in mind and the good wall carry that Yoshimitsu has and no sword stance, this makes him actually disgusting in my opinion. The problem is, most things that lead to full crouch are +4. And at +4, this is easily steppable and sidewalkable. Not easily steppable, but you can sidewalk out of it. So what you have to mash in your brain are 3 different things. The first one is, I need to get my opponent to respect me to not hop kick. That is the first layer. I want them to respect me. And to do that, you need your quick mids from full crouch. So when you play a long deathmatch against a good opponent or a mid-tier opponent, don't use this immediately. Use it sparingly and start to put him in his place with your checking mids from full crouch, so he tends to not just straight up hop kick you. Because if you +4, he can't do that. And what is also very important, remember that you have access to flash from full crouch. So you can bait retaliations like that. And when you use that wisely, situations like being -2 in full crouch actually turn out to be in your favor in the mind game, because you conditioned them with flash to not mid-check you, which they normally would do in this situation with a down for 1. So it is very important to learn one thing, in my opinion. You have to learn to correctly backdash. Why? Because if you input the correct backdash forward, this will happen. I cannot do it quickly because I'm feeling not so good, but you will see me do this against good opponents a lot. And why is that so? Because from here I have very quick access, you can do it way quicker than I did, to my sweep, and with every forward I'm realigning with the opponent. So it's very hard to step here, and it's very hard to backdash away from me. And it's very easy for me to access full crouch. So the opponent doesn't want to deal with that, so what can he do? He can mid-check you, and there is flash again. Or he just ducks. There comes the second layer. You have to learn how to do Fubuki knee from full crouch in approximately the same speed as the full crouch sweep, to make this a real mix-up. Fubuki Ni on paper is around 17 to 18 frames and the sweep is 20, but good players will see the difference. And to Fubuki Ni is one very important thing. Fubuki Ni itself has some ghost tracking but not reliable tracking. What you have to learn is to input a forward and then a forward, like kind of a right running 4, but you have to have a neutral between it or you will get a forward. And when you do this technique, you will see that that forward will track more. And if you can implement this in this kind of situation where you're forward dashing a lot, why the fuck can't I do it? I'm sorry, I'm stupid today. But believe me, if you learn this, forward will start to track. And then you finally have your mix-up here. And that, of course, goes for every situation when you're in full crouch. Because Fubuki Ni has thick range. So then you have a mid that hits from range 3 and a low that hits from range 3. Both for a combo. And if you learned how to do the Fubuki Ni properly, it has more tracking than you think. And with every forward you're realigning. Then it becomes very annoying. So now comes the last layer. So you have to learn how to properly forward dash. You have to get your opponent to respect you. And what you also have to do, I know that's a lot, but you have to learn how to use Fubuki Ni in the best situations. This is important overall because Fubuki Ni is your best whiff punisher in no sword stance for longer range whiffs. Is your best block punisher for sweeps at max range. The move just gets so important in no sword stance because you're lacking CD1 range. Now the last layer. The last thing that will tie the room together. If you cannot always, if you want your opponent to not check you, throw out the flash, because you will die for that. So here comes what I told you, while standing 1 and while standing 2. If you do this, you will not only keep them in check without risking as much, while standing 1 even being a mix-up if you do it right, while standing 2 being a mix-up as well if you do it right, and while standing 2 have track to one side and while standing 1 track to the other side completely. The last thing that you have to mash in your brain, they are not allowed to step. You want them to stay. They can backdash. That is not a problem. So you don't have to mash out of full crouch every time. And you don't have to implement Y running 3 or something, or back 1 to no. Your range is not the issue. The issue is the tracking and the interrupting options. So both of these, while standing 1 and while standing 2, are rather quick. So if you plus and you do while standing 2 and it comes from crouch, it's very unlikely to get interrupted. Same goes for while standing 1, for instance. And both track to one side, and there comes the mind game. But if you master this and they stop sidestepping, then this is like broken. Not broken for Tekken 7 standards, but very, very good. Cannot be overstated. And one last thing I want to add to this move. I know we talked a lot about it, but it's just so good. It's just so good. This move, due to its range, can be used in very awkward situations. If you're with a dick jab and someone comes in, you will clip him. If you block a forward throw from Kazuya that puts you in full crouch and you throw this out and the opponent tries to play a mind game, he will eat it more often than you think. This applies to long death matches. I tell you, good players won't take their turn against Yoshimitsu because they're afraid of flash, and that's the key for your offense, because you can vary your timing if you read right when they're gonna immediately attack and when they sidestep. You don't have to read the exact timing of the opponent, if that makes sense. You just have to read, does he respect the flash in this moment or does he not? And if he does, this move becomes so annoying, because you can literally do it at -6 being in full crouch just from almost 3 feet away. And when I have long death matches, you will see me throw this out at -8, at -6, sometimes at -9. I don't give a shit. If I feel I have the upper hand in the mind game, then this move will hunt them down to their fucking grave. But keep in mind, firstly, safely condition them before you go wild, please. I don't want to see hate comments that I get you all killed. Even though I kind of do sometimes. Next thing we're gonna cover is wild standing 2-1-2. Very awkward one. Wild standing 2-1-2 used to be a shitty move in other Tekken games and Tekken Tag Tournament 2, especially because there was no mix-up and it was a high. And people always ducked the second hit and could launch you with the I-13 frame wild standing punish, and there was nothing you could do about that. So you oftentimes did this into down 4 instead on block as a scrub like me. So in this game, however, since he has the new 2-1, people are for some reason at all levels are not ducking this anymore. I swear, hands down, try it for yourself. And when they don't duck this, let me tell you, this move is so good. So as you can see, it covers the whole screen. It comes from range, I think 4. It will connect on range 4. It is hard to show you that the second hit, the last hit is a counter hit because it has so much range. This, for some stupid reason, is a high crush. The last hit. Very the same as this one. It doesn't reliably high crush, but it crushes jabs. I'm telling you that. The first hit, as you know, has very good tracking. The first two are natural, but the last one can be blocked. But the last one is -5. -5 is a very close situation to be Fubuki on block. But this means if I do a 10th frame and you just turn around, you're still gonna block it. So nothing is guaranteed. The last one scores more counter hit than you would think. I promise you, almost all the time I score a counter hit the first time I'm using this, even against top players. I don't know why it is, but it is like I'm telling you. And even if they block it, nothing is guaranteed. So of course you can spin. Of course you can back turn down 4 into a full crouch. Only +3, so no real mix-up, but you know how it goes. And of course you can just play it safe and turn around. So what I like to do in my full mindset of I want to mix you up, I do wild standing 2 into turn around wild standing 2 again. And if I see this connecting, this means that he tried to step after this on block, or he tried to duck. Which is a bad indicator, because that means he knows how to deal with this. If he does just blocking this or something, that means he doesn't know that there is a high extension. This is not confirmed like brutal strat here, what I'm telling you. This is just what I do to test before throwing this out. If he doesn't have a 13 frame launcher, you not have to be afraid, just throw it out, to be honest. Since the tracking of the first hit is so good to one side, it is very annoying to deal with. And the last hit, the counter hit, is not as hard as people think. Just turn around was... Of course, that had to happen because I had such a big mouth. Just turn around, what the hell, man? I swear it's not hard. It's the YouTube curse, I'm the main man. See, like this. And you get your combo. Just turn around, press down for it, and to wild standing 4. And what I want to tell as well is that if the second hit counter hits, you can also do the free option, which is a safe high, to wall splat. And it's also a good wall combo ender in no sword stance. And you can counter hit confirm the free. So if you see them moving after the second hit, you have enough time, like not all the time of the world, but you have enough time to confirm the free. The next move I want to cover is actually up 1+2. Oh god, I love this move. It's a super slow low at 27 frames, so it's zero. Looks shitty, does nothing on counter hit, has poor range, but it's +20, which sounds a lot, right? But the problem is that all his options are so slow that means that they can still step. But this move, like, I want to show you how I came to this. So I usually did this combo a lot of the times. Not this combo, sorry. I usually do this into screw and then down to 2. And when most opponents stayed on the ground the first time. And I didn't want to commit to a full sweep because if they blocked low while standing up, I would get killed. So I was looking for an option to hit them grounded without risking too much. And then I found up 1+2. Up 1+2 transitions into meditation stance, which is a very underused stance, and looks super shitty. Only as a ground hitting tool. But now look at this, please. First and foremost, it's -4. So that means if you press teleport or this, it's very hard to float you. And if you press 2, it actually is an option select between the move coming out or if you got interrupted teleporting. You also have this with the 4, which is very underused, to make them afraid of stepping. And you have the 3 to chase down backdashing. With the 3, which is very common, if they block it, you can flash afterwards without doing the extension. Because they're gonna hesitate, wait for it, then press buttons and get flashed. This works for me very, very good. And if for some reason they're not respecting it, you can of course throw this out because it's, I think, -13 or something. It's not that big. What I mostly use is 2 actually. Because I like the situation afterwards and it's on the safe side. But now comes what is really the hidden gem of this move. And the reason why you watch this channel, because I show you things like that you can delay fucking down forward 1+2 into a counter for a wall splat. This move has super good tracking. And no one knows it. If they sidestep, they're gonna get clipped by this move to both fucking sides. If they sidewalk, however, it only tracks to his left, which is usually his weak side, but they can sidewalk it to his right. Oh god, I'm such a scrub, sorry. And if you do this and they blocked it with -4, you should try to teleport, but you can get floated. But they have to be very quick, and a lot of times that won't happen. And I really like the move. It just does so much for me, even though it's seeable. Of course, if the opponent sees this, then please don't use it, if he has sharp enough reactions. But even if he blocks it, it's not that bad, to be honest. So I showed you this move already, and now I will show you the sword sweep, which will be not the last move, because I will have one more thing to show you. Most people know the sword sweep because it's a scrub killer. For the people who don't, the sword sweep is not unblockable for Yoshimitsu in no sword stance, but he gets an extension, which is famously +14 on hit, which means you can you could get a rage drive in the open, but most likely you're gonna get a 2-1 for a wall splat and huge damage, or a knockdown in the open. And as I said, you can do the rage drive in the open. But what I want to talk about is sword sweep in this game is not as good as it used to be, because before there wasn't a very good option without with backwards movement, without exposing yourself for things like for 1+2 to bound them. But now you have a safe back roll, which made sword sweep only available at the wall, most likely, or in some setups. But what I want to talk about today is this actually, without the extension, gets way better, because most people are in low to mid ranks, they will always eat the extension the first time. And the good thing is when you use this at the wall, when they stay on the ground, which normally fucks you over if you do the Oki between CD1 and sword sweep, the second hit will trip them on the ground, will hit them on the ground, always, even if they don't move. So it's not that bad. The second hit is only -14, which is also noteworthy, because in some matchups that means that you cannot get launched, and a lot of people don't even know that. The next thing is the first one still has his tracking but is blockable and -16. But what I want to tell you again is, because there is the extension, most people tend to, even if they duck it, for that they even have to know that this is blockable now, they don't punish it, even though it's -16, because they're too afraid of getting caught by the second hit. So I use this at the wall a lot, and then just do my regular combo, which in my case is while sending 4 into into Kicho 1+2, because I don't have the Dragonfly 4. And if they block it, I'm most likely gonna get away with it, because they're afraid of the second hit. The second hit does so much damage to them that they rather just let me go away with this. This doesn't mean that you should press buttons afterwards if this is blocked, but that means you're not gonna get launched, which is very, very good in my opinion. And there are very nice shenanigans if you hit this at the wall and you do this at the wall combo, that they're forced to block something that they shouldn't block. So now I explained to you what I think are the most important moves, and I will show you one more gimmick, and I will make one whole episode of gimmicks from no sword stance that you can use or not. You know the tech trap in one sword stance where this unblockable is very useful at the wall. In no sword stance, it loses this kind of application where you can use this as a tech trap. But even though the unblockable is slower, it only has one spark, so it's harder to detect, has still decent range. So it can be used after quite some conditioning. But usually when you use the one sword version at the wall, you're at minus. The toe kick is not guaranteed, but if they just get up normally like this, and then you're kind of in a minus situation, you don't want to press buttons there. But if you hit them with this, it loses his tracking, but it gives you a very strange wall splat. And the wall splat, if they hit the wall, you actually plus if they wake up, and you cancel it immediately. You have to be very sharp with the cancel, but then it is actually very, very good. A very good situation for you. And you don't have to, like you usually do, be on the lookout for get-up kicks. You can, as you see, it says minus 18, but it is a way better situation than this one. From my experience. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but from my experience, if they hit the wall, it's way better. And you have way more time to retaliate. I'm not the kind of guy who presses buttons after wall splatting with this, and nothing damage-wise is guaranteed. But I like to backdash then, and I don't get interrupted by so many get-up kicks. One last thing to note, if you sidestep right at the right angle, you can actually get a double wall splat with this in a proper damaging combo. In both, in one sword and no sword stance. If you want, I can cover how to do it, but it's very gimmicky, to be honest. So I hope you liked it. The video is now over. I'm not gonna explain something. If you don't want to hear it, get out, man. So I'm pumping out a lot of videos, and I just want to thank you all for watching them. And I usually reply to all the comments, but now I have to go to the hospital for 7 to 10 days maybe. And I don't know if I can upload in this time. If I can upload, I definitely cannot reply to your comments. So it's nothing big, like nothing dangerous or important. So that's not a problem, but just if I don't reply to your comment like I usually do, please don't get upset. It's just me not having the opportunity to do it. And I will be back and upload videos again when I'm back. So I hope you stay healthy and doing well, and see you in the next one. Goodbye.